This show is brought to you by the Deluxe Edition Network. Head over to theden.show for other great podcasts.
Did I read that right?
You did, Mr.
Take
Rottenborn.
that down, Michelle.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Deluxe Edition. It's me, Bill Siebold, here with Casey Shearer, and we have an expert, a case expert. Casey set you up as a case expert, Kara.
Yeah.
Kara Horning, thank you for joining us. You are our third today as we talk about the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial. The other day, Casey was over and he's like, "Are you watching this?" I said, "Dude, this is like the best reality show on TV."
Yeah.
And if I could just not work, if like somebody would give me money to watch this,
that's
I'd watch
what I'm
it.
doing, but without
that
the
into it. You're watching it for work?
No, I'm just watching it because I'm nothing else to do during the day. So.
Oh, all right. Well,
the kids are in school, so
kids, right. Well, there's got to be like maybe I will pay you to watch it and give me the highlights, because my biggest problem with it is there's so much stuff that when I finally get to watch like some of the highlights, it's long YouTube videos because everybody has to have a 10-minute video now to try to get the YouTube ad dollars. I just want to see like a montage, a highlight reel, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. But my thing with the montage is they're leaving out some important things, but if you watch it all, it's so much to get through. So like they're in the intro when they get on the stand might take 10 minutes and you're like, okay, we don't care where you went to high school, like just get to the point. But then some of those montages leave out some things. So I like those, but I also, it's like, you don't want to watch the whole thing, but some of those montages don't, tell you everything. So.
Yeah, I really went into it being starstruck because I'm 47. Johnny Depp to me is like Humphrey Bogart was to my parents. Like he's a big name. He was there your entire childhood. So seeing him up on the stand and seeing him talking not as one of his characters, like I'm starstruck. I'm like, oh my God, does he know I can see him?
I'm the opposite. Obviously I knew who he was, but I never saw one Pirates movie. I didn't really, I know who he is, but the only reason why I really followed this is because I remember when it happened way back when it all went down, but I'm not a big Johnny Depp fan or not going into it. Now I am.
Now you are. Now you're watching all the movies.
I'm not watching the movies, but I do. No, I'm not watching the movies. I just didn't see the Pirates, I should say. Pretty much every other movie I've seen.
So let's pause for a minute and tell everyone what so I'm new to the case. I've caught bits and pieces of it. I don't have time to spend and watch every single second of it. So let's catch everyone up, for people like me. What is the case and what brought all of this about?
Basically, she claimed abuse when they divorced years ago. And then he filed for divorce. Then she claimed abuse. And then years later, she wrote a piece in the Washington Post about being, a survivor of abuse, specifying the year she was abused, which clearly it would be him, but without saying his name. So then he had a lawsuit with the son because they called him a wife beater, but he lost that. And now he is suing her basically for $50 million for defamation.
Okay.
So she goes, well, then I'm going to sue you for $100 million.
Right. She's countersuing.
On what grounds? I never figured that out.
So I think pretty much when anybody brings a lawsuit against you, you can just countersue. If they're saying it's for defamation, she can say, no, that's not true. And I'm suing you. I believe that's what's going on. I don't think she's doing anything other than just kind of back at you,
Yeah. It's like poker.
Yeah. I don't know 100% on that though, but I'm pretty sure.
I'll see your 50 million, raise you 100 million.
Well, when they got a divorce and he gave was $7 million, the settlement, and we can get into that later, but he was paying it to the charity she said she was going to donate it to. And she was like, you should be charged double. You should be 14 million. She is in it for the money, in my opinion. So. All
right. How did the other lawsuit, you talked about the son suit. How is that related to this? Because I hear them mention that once in a while.
So from what I understand about that, I didn't follow that back then, and I don't think it was televised, but they basically called him a wife beater in a headline, and that's what brought him to say no. And he lost that because of the testimony, I guess, that was given. And I don't know exactly what specifically was the reason why he lost it, but he did not. I mean, I guess maybe because there was no proof. Like, they did not prove that he didn't, so they couldn't say either way. But he basically lost that because there was no proof otherwise. Like, could he have hit her? Yeah. So it was kind of like she wrote it, so then that's why he came back with this.
Yeah, I'm no lawyer, but I know like slander laws are kind of, I believe it's like you have to prove it's not true for it to be turned around. So it's easy to lose in court. So is that what this was? Well,
this case, from what I can understand, is all they have to prove is that she's lied about one of like anything. And I think that they're going to, because I mean, she's making stuff up there that they've never heard before. And I think that now his lawyers are probably having a heyday with it, because she's saying things that can easily be disproved. Like, she brought up about a flight attendant. She brought up Kate Moss. And did you see that TikTok where she brought up Kate Moss and his lawyer turned around and was like that? As soon as she said it, like, we got her. Because
what was that, Kara?
She's trying to say that he pushed Kate Moss down a flight of stairs, and Kate Moss, I guess, never said that happened. So now she's on the stand basically claiming that he abused Kate Moss, and Kate Moss is like, no. So, but the second she said her name, his lawyer turned around and was like that, like visibly in the courtroom. So it's like, that'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I did see that video.
So why can't they use a lot of the stuff that they used in that hearing just again? Like, hey, we put all of this together. Here's all the evidence. Here's all the tapes. It seems like a lot of this is brand new discovery. And it seems sometimes when I'm watching this, it doesn't look like well, especially Amber's team totally has it figured out. You can tell that they're improvising a lot of this.
Yeah.
You can also tell that they're really planning. They're working with they're working with Johnny and they're working with Amber. You can tell a lot of this is what's the word I'm looking for? It's not staged. It's not overly prepared, but there's definitely a degree of make sure you say this, make sure you don't say this, make sure you smile and charm the audience. So there's a lot of I can't find this word, but there's a lot of preparing. I'm just going to use the word preparing,
like pageantry almost. Like, they're like, and did you see too that TikTok where they're
coaching
like,
is the word I was looking for.
This person was like, I'm Amber Heard, and she's looking over at them immediately. She's like right away. So from what I understand, like from watching it, I watch Law and Crime, but on Court TV and Law and Crime, they're all saying she's not believable. Like, they can't speak for the jury, but they're all saying like, this is so fake, like, and staged, or like she's completely acting, with everything that she's saying. So, but who knows what the jury's thinking? You know what I mean? They could be eating it up.
Yeah. Well, I saw the testimony of Johnny Depp, and then I saw the cross-examination, and I was like, this is fascinating. First off, I've got so many thoughts just from his stuff that he said. First off, I would have hated to be at home and be Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany plays Vision in the Marvel.
You're like, Coke. We were doing Coke.
I don't want that out there. I work for Disney.
Even Barbara was like, oh my God, Paul Bettany. Like, that's so sad. It's like, yeah, it's like out there. Like, it is. And it's like, well, I mean, these poor people that had nothing to do with it, it's like their whole lives are like, I'm sure the people close to him knew that he was doing cocaine though. So
I love the idea of somebody sitting at home and all of a sudden they're watching this like, holy shit. And then like James Franco hears his name. What? They're talking about me.
Well, they were on the witness list, so they knew it was potential to be called.
Is there a witness list that's
there
published?
is, yeah. And they're on it.
Who else?
So Elon and James Franco were the main ones I knew of, but they knew that was a possibility of being called. They're not going to call them though, as far as I know.
How do you know, and why not?
They just on one of the channels, they said that they're not going to. It was on the news. I don't know how or why they said that they weren't going to call them, but they said they were not. So I don't know.
Who decided to put this on YouTube? And why do we need C-SPAN anymore? This is the greatest to see this on YouTube.
So it's my understanding that she did not want it to be public, and he was like fighting for it to be public. And so I guess the judge decides. It's I think it's state to state. I want to say with other cases I've watched, like some cases, some states won't have them, but I feel like he fought to have it public. So I really feel like even if he loses, he's doing this on purpose to get her shit out there. Like, she's crazy. I want to show what she did to me. Like, not necessarily that he needs her 50 million. She doesn't even have it to give. So,
yeah, if that's the plan, this is one bold fucking plan to do that.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way she has $50 million. She doesn't even have the 7 from the divorce. So, That's what I was wondering too. Like, if he wins, what happens? He's never going to see that money.
And what's the public opinion of both of them when they're done? I mean, this is such a big thing that you don't erase this from your head. You know, like this could be a career ender just because people are like, oh yeah, that guy's he was on that, you know, in that court case forever. It's kind of sticky now to even think of him. Like it may backfire on him.
I think he feels like he's already done publicly. So he's just trying to get her, you know, that story out. Because he said that he feels like he lost already.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
And obviously he lost supposedly Pirate 6 and people have this bad idea of him. But I feel like he's coming out with supporters from this. Like from what I can see online, he's gained like something like 3 or 4 million followers on Instagram since this happened. During the day when he comes, people are like, they're giving him gifts, cheering. She comes and they're like, they hate her. So I feel like he's coming out really good. Now that doesn't mean he's going to be getting a movie after this, but I feel like in the public opinion, you know, he's coming out better.
Yeah, I got to admit, I mean, the Me Too stuff going on, he was not a name that registers in my head when I think of the bad guys on that. So when as we were saying, like, you ruined my career, I was like, were you caught up in that? And then as I read into it more and more and understood the Sun stuff and everything going on, I was like, oh, wow, this is still part of that. Mm-hmm. So to see so much support for Johnny is not, I'm not saying right or wrong, it's uncharacteristic because for years we've been seeing the reverse support.
Right. But I think that's dangerous. I think the Me Too movement was great for, you know, real victims, but I think it also set a dangerous precedent where any woman can just be like, oh, I was abused. And they're like, believe her. And it's like, maybe they're making it up. But what if they're not? Like, I'm not saying like, you know, all that Harvey Weinstein, that was all crazy. But I do think it set a very dangerous precedent. And as a mother of 2 boys, I'm like, I don't think so. Because they make it look like you can just literally accuse anybody of anything. And if you're a woman, oh, we have to believe her. Me too. And it's like So I think to me it was dangerous. And I still think it is. And I know that that's not a popular opinion, but I don't think the Me Too movement was great for everyone. I think it set up a lot of dangerous situations, you know?
Well, what you're saying about weaponizing it is actually the narrative I've heard the entire last week.
More so than the actual movement. I feel like it you know. So I think, and then she was that happened in the midst of it all, right? Well, right before it, honestly. I guess with Amber, because that started. I don't know what year that started.
One of the cool things I really like about Johnny Depp coming out, he's like, we're talking about domestic abuse, and usually it's men to women, but it can be women to men, right? So Johnny Depp's coming out. Johnny Depp's a guy from the 80s. We were bred to never show weakness, right? Mm-hmm. We got to be men, but he's going up there going like, yo, I'm a guy from the 80s. Fuck all that macho shit. This sucks. My career is ruined. Bad shit's going on, and I'm going to risk everything to put it out there.
Right.
Like, that's actually pretty bold.
And they do have the audio of her saying, oh, tell them me, a man, Johnny Depp, was a victim of domestic violence and see who they believe. And it's like, we believe him. You know, and that audio I think is very damning.
Why? And, you know, I haven't caught, like I said, I haven't caught a ton of this, but why would someone be recording someone else unless they were trying to trap them?
So that's my thing with it. So he said that they started recording each other separately and then together. They were saying we were recording each other. But my thing is she was taking pictures of him, like passed out, whatever she claims, way early in the relationship. And like, I'm married. I would never take a picture of Justin passed out. Well, who's that for? So I feel like she was kind of like doing it the whole time just to be like, well, whenever I feel like she was after him for money or like fame or whatever. Why would you be taking pictures of your significant other, even if they were drunk and passed out? Like, why would you need that? Who's that for? To me, that's strange.
Bill, are you taking pictures of Amy while she's passed out?
I didn't know that was taboo. I thought everybody did it.
But like she's like, oh, look, I have this one. I have this one. It's like, how many, like, what were you doing? How about,
that's interesting.
But then in the same breath, she's testifying, and I was the one taking care of him. I was cleaning him up when he urinated. And it's like, after you took a picture of him, apparently, you know, if I saw Justin like passed out, like, and pissed himself, I wouldn't be like, hold on, let me help you in a second. Get some good. It's weird to me. So to me, it seems like she was just kind of not setting him up, but I think once she was in, she was kind of like trying to solidify, you know, just to if things went wrong.
Yeah, but that first, I think, was like the third day. That testimony of Johnny Depp, or the cross-examination when they're playing the recordings they have of him.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm watching him listen back to him as they say, some of the shit that he said. Which
Can you imagine?
he said it. He's a rock star hanging out with other rock stars. He's had his ass wiped forever. He gets away with everything he wants. He gets hammered, drunk, drugged up. He says stupid asshole things.
Yeah.
And he got caught. And they're playing. He's just like, man, I got to live through this again. But when I heard that, I was like, oh no, he's not coming back from that. But the stuff about Amber's tapes were worse.
Right. And so I think just sitting there and listening to it, I can't even imagine. I mean, I cannot imagine if somebody's playing that stuff back and you're sitting there like, yeah, that's me saying like some of the stuff is just so bad. And you just think, what was their day to day? I mean, it was crazy. And like, I'm like, not like, oh, I don't drink or I've never done anything, but like to live that day to day life, like so messed up every day. They both had their own nurse. It's like, what? Like, why did she need a nurse? Why did he even need one? So yeah, listening to that, I can't even imagine. Like, I wouldn't even want to go to court just for that shit to be played back. Like, if I was truly abused, I'd be like, never mind. I don't want to go. If I knew that was going to be played, like, so I can't even imagine sitting there and it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, the camera just sits on them. That's the weirdest part. It's like, I'm waiting for one of them to forget the cameras on. Start picking his nose. Like, that'll be great.
Did you see the video of her where she had a tissue and she put it up to her nose and then like noticed, and then she like posed for a second for them to take a picture of her.
Yeah, well, I saw the video of her. She put a tissue up to her nose and looked like
she was snorting coke.
She went like, and then like looked around and then was like, I mean, I don't know how you're getting away with doing coke in front of all those people.
No, and I said that to you. Hold on, I'm going to send you in case you the thing. My thing about that is, I definitely wasn't coke. There's no way she would ever, I don't think, go in there doing coke. But someone pointed out to me, my friend said that with actors, sometimes they put menthol on a tissue to make them cry. And I'm like, that's a believable thing. That could be. Because she really did kind of like hold it there and snort it for a minute, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I've only caught the clips of everything, and if she is acting like these tears and stuff, she's not a great actor.
Because there's no real tears.
Right. She one time during everything that I've seen, she brought up some actual tears. I mean, look, I've never been abused. I don't know, it's horrible if anyone was abused, but like her, it just seems so fake. Like she does not seem sincere about any of it.
Well, and I think too that like I've never been abused. So I can't say. But I think it's doing like a disservice to people that were abused, because most people that are abused are not in the financial, they don't have the means to get out. So they have to stay. She could have left at any time, but she was like, following around with the camera, smiling after it ends. Like, and that's what I have a hard time with. A lot of the audio or the video is her holding this up, recording him, and then picking it up. Crazy Johnny, like, putting it down. Usually that's not the case with the people that are abused. And then she bought him that knife. It's like an abused person wouldn't give their abuser a knife for a gift.
Right.
So
the only argument I can add to that is, remember, there's a lot of drugs going on.
True.
They're not thinking straight, right? This is like Alice Cooper through the 70s.
That's true.
Like they make weird decisions and live in these weird alternative universes. It sounds to me like she's trying to pretend she wasn't part of that universe. Right. I don't hang out with the old guys playing guitar.
But who wouldn't want to be there for that? Like, she made them look like they were like losers. It's like anybody else would be like, oh my God, this is amazing. But at the same point, I agree with what you just said about the drugs. I do think there is an aspect where they were just so fucked up the entire time that she might not even be lying necessarily, but she's on the stand like, yeah, and that's what happened, because you have no recollection of what happened because you guys were so fucked up. So that I'm not like completely like, oh, he's innocent. I think it was just a crazy life I think it was just insane. And so I don't even think that they know what the hell was going on. They're hearing this audio probably back and they're like,
Yeah. When they showed the police footage, the police go to the penthouse and police are looking around and they're like, yeah, they weren't helpful. They being Casey, because you're not familiar, was Amber.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that.
And evidently she had just had a fight with Johnny. Johnny stormed off. So the police show up. So now they're interviewing the police saying, did you see any marks on her? And they're like, nah.
And they said no.
Yeah. They said, was she being helpful? No, she wasn't being helpful. And I was like, well, that sure doesn't sound good for her. Maybe she is, busted. And then I'm going to tell you when I changed my thought. As soon as she got on the stand, the acting that Casey said was terrible, the tears that nobody believes are real. It was so bad that I thought it was real. Because I'm like, if she were acting, she'd do a better job. So I'm hearing this, and I know abused people, and I know wealthy, rich, drunk people who have been through some serious stuff. And I've heard some of these stories that she was telling, and I started to go, oh, shit, maybe Johnny doesn't even know he was doing some of these things. Maybe it's like, sorry, I talked. No,
I agree. I think a lot of it was drug induced, and they have no clue what the hell they were both doing.
When the police walked in and they were like, tell us something, I said, oh, maybe they weren't trying to be a dick to make, trouble for Johnny. Maybe they were like, it was another Johnny episode and we just want to keep our mouth shut so we don't ruin his career.
They're like, we didn't know it was Johnny.
Yeah. They're
like, and the cop was like, we didn't even know who the hell she was. They're like, we thought it was just a regular citizen.
Yeah.
And that's probably eating at her. I can't even imagine because she has such a big ego. I think she's like probably a narcissist. I can't even imagine. The cop's like, no, I had no clue who the hell she was. I mean, I can't even. You go to a celebrity's house and they're like, no, didn't know. But he was gone. Of course, I'm sure they would have known him.
Well, I got to admit, watching her testimony, you guys are saying I didn't buy it at all. I did. I was like, ooh, there's something here. Maybe Johnny's a little bit worse than we think, and I can't wait to see where this goes. The second day, I changed my mind. The second day, it looked a lot more rehearsed and a lot more in line with what you guys are saying. But I don't know what it was about her on the stand on the first day. The fact that she was so bad up there made me believe it more.
Oh, and I could see that.
Yeah, and the explanation of her childhood and the kind of life she has doesn't sync with the description of the borderline personality we have who drinks and does drugs and is just super violent and needs all the attention. There are two completely different people. And I know mental health, and I know that people can live those, dual lives. So, again, it's possible she's not the bad guy here. But I'm kind of going along with it going, why the fuck Johnny's not that dumb. He wouldn't put all these, stakes on the table if he thought he could lose this.
And I think, too, another thing that is crazy is, like, usually abusers don't start, like, in their 50s. And not one of his exes will say that he abused them. Not even raised his voice. So you're telling me he just became this abusive monster in his mid-50s? It's very strange and not characteristic usually of abuse. Normally you're an abuser from the beginning. So I think, and they speak out for him, the exes. So I think that's interesting too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're supposed to believe he was just this like, dude, I'm fine. And then, oh no, I'm gonna, in my 50s. And then she even said like he assaulted her with a bottle of booze, like, and doing cavity searches. It's like, so he was normal until he was like mid 50s and then just decided to go nuts. That's where I have an issue with it. I'm like, show me another case where that happened. I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. It comes out that she's lying about all that. Maybe the worst human being ever.
That's what I mean. And they did say that they released statements on Thursday, I think it was. And they said that all of this stuff she's saying is new. They never heard it before in even the Sun case. So it's like she opened it up for them to question all of this. Like she made like damning remarks that they're going, I can't wait for the cross. I mean, I think they're really going to get her.
When is that going to happen?
But we have a while to wait because it's like a 10-day, I think, since yesterday, right?
Oh, what are they on break?
10 days.
Oh, it's like my favorite sitcom going into, a break.
And I don't know why it's 10 days. Did you see? I didn't. They just said 10-day break.
These celebrities, sure. they live their own lives in different hours. And
it could be the court needs the building for stuff too, because I imagine they're really holding that up. But they never have court on Fridays, so I'm not. But it's 10 days for sure.
I hate it. I demand more now. I can't wait 10 days. What the hell?
We need them to go in tonight, right now. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah. Some of the witnesses, I think, are the most fun. I really hope they make a reality show with all of them. I mean,
do you know the one is on TikTok? That driver, the guy that was at the front desk.
Can you tell me what type of makeup Amber Heard was wearing in any of those videos?
No, I can't tell you. I didn't even know she was wearing any lipstick.
Can you
I
tell
don't
me?
know.
He is the one that was vaping in the car.
Yeah.
He is now on TikTok, and he sent a TikTok out. He's like, a lot of people are saying I was not being, professional. He's like, I don't fucking care. I can curse, right? I guess say fuck. I've been saying it. I don't fucking care. He's like, they're not paying me. He's like, it's not my fucking job to be professional. It's like, oh my God. He's like the man that was like responsible for someone. He's like on there like vaping in the car. That was like the craziest thing. Did you see that meme of the judge afterwards where she's just like, after he finished, he's like testifying in the car vaping, and she was just sitting there like, the judge. And then she goes, I'm sorry, I just never saw that before. She's like, so like, oh, just kill me. But who testifies in the car while they're vaping? It's funny to me. I mean,
it's one of the things that I hate about this. They're doing these things remote because I want the judge to go, hey, stop this bullshit.
Knock it the hell off. Yeah, get out of the car.
This judge ain't that judge.
At one point he was driving. At one point he was driving the car. He's like, yeah, I don't know. And like moving his car, like not driving on the road, but it's like, what? How is this allowed? I don't know. But.
Right. Yeah. You say the judge said, sorry, she's never seen somebody vape before. Like when have we ever seen someone driving in a car testifying before? Like this is like, when the fuck did they allow that shit?
Well, that's what I mean. I don't even understand. I guess if you think, I mean, I've not been really involved in many court cases, but I guess they don't really say you have to be in a room. I mean, I guess they really tell you nothing. But
don't they make you? What is that called when you put your hand on the Bible? You tell the truth.
So I'm not sure how that works remotely, but I guess
that's what I'm saying. Like how you're supposed to do that before you testify.
But he was like, oh, like just so everybody knows, he's like, people are saying I'm not professional. He's like, I don't fucking care. Like literally, he's like, I don't fucking care. He's like, they're not paying me. I don't really care. And he had a major part in this case. So I was like, oh my God. And he's on TikTok now, like literally saying all this shit. And I'm like, now, I guess he's probably not, they can reserve them to call them back or whatever. I'm assuming, obviously, that he's probably not reserved to call back, but I just can't even imagine getting on there and be like, I don't fucking care about really. Yeah, I get it. But on when he was doing his, in-car testimony, he was like, I'm just so tired of this. I just want this to be over with. And I can't imagine because these poor people are regular people that have jobs that are in this years-long entrapment, basically, of like testifying. And he's like, they don't want to be in the spotlight. Right. So I think that was the whole point with him. He's like, just please let me go.
I think even better than him. Even better than him. You got to comment on the assistant of Amber Heard, the British woman. She was. I mean, talk about somebody who was so furious to be there. I mean, she was almost a hostile witness.
That's what I'm saying. I'm surprised a lot of them aren't considered that because a lot of them are.
You said that the guy vaping was an important part of the case. What, for me, because I haven't been watching. I saw him vaping. I didn't see anything else. What did he have to do with the case?
So he was in the front desk, kind of concierge-ish type of situation in their building. But then he also was like the contact point with Amber and another person in the case. Like it was, pretty substantial. But yeah, he was down there watching when like she came in, and I guess she had said that somebody was trying to break into the penthouse, and he was like, there were scratches like 4 inches above the bottom of the door. He's like, that's a dog. Like, he's like, yeah. I was irritated to even have to drag her up there. But he's like, because there was nobody's breaking in like 4 inches. He's like, but I guess she was trying to build her case. Like, somebody's trying to break in after like Johnny hit her. He's like, it was clearly the dog was scratching. And he was like, but she was always nice to me. Like, he didn't have anything bad to say about her, but he did say he never saw the bruises that she's claiming that she had. And he saw her the day she's claiming to have these bruises.
Okay.
So not one person has seen these actual bruises on her other than in the picture. And then that court case. And like I said, I could do that bruise on myself right now. And
yeah, I saw a picture of it earlier.
Did you see the nail polish thing? When Johnny said that they were fighting, I guess like she had been hitting him, and Johnny testified that he grabbed her arms, and he's like, and naturally he's like, our heads hit. And he's like, and I hit her nose. She walked out for 10 minutes, like, you hit my nose, blah, 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 carrying on. And he's like, 10 minutes go by. She comes back in the room and she's like, see, I have blood. And he said he saw a red thing on the tissue and was like, how did that happen? Because I didn't touch her. And he said he was talking to her, waiting for her to drop it. And he picked it up and he said it was nail polish. So he could be lying. Yes, we don't know. But if he's not lying, then that goes along with the bruise. I mean, she clearly is faking crap to get attention.
Right.
So
How do they let the people who hang out in there in? How are they chosen? Because some of those people, it looks like the background of Night Court, like some of the most colorful people I've ever seen. It's almost like they're dressing up to be, silly to hang out and root, some of the celebrities. Is that really what they're doing?
So I saw a girl on TikTok who said she she lives 5 hours away and she's like watching it. And she said that she saw that people like line up. So her and her friend went to Fairfax, 5-hour drive, and they like decided to drive by at midnight just to see. And there were people already in line. 2 people, she said. So she goes, we went back, got quick showers ready, and they waited at 1:30 and they got in. And so, yeah, you just have to get there early, basically.
It's a talk show.
I saw something yesterday where they were talking to everyone waiting in line. People that were there from the very beginning said that, they just had to show up real early in the morning when it first started.
See, my issue would be like at that time, I would look like such dog shit. Like, guys, you guys wouldn't have to worry about that. You look the same like now or 5 hours now. But girls, like, your makeup's crappy. I'm like, I don't want to be sitting in there. Like, I would not. If you said to me now, Carrie, you can go, but you got to wait for 6 hours. I'd be like, no, I'm not. I need to be. No, I'm not going to do that.
Well, yeah. So they were saying that when they first went, they got there real early in the morning and they could get in no problem. Then they had to go at midnight. Then they were going at like 9:30 the night before.
There's just no fucking
like that early in order to start lining up to get a spot.
I can't tell you anyone I can think of that I would do that for.
Well, Kara, the reason I brought you on as our case expert, you did attend a very.
After I just say I would never do anything, you're like, actually, you're crazy. Yes, I did.
Tell us about that. What was that? What was that all about?
So while I was pregnant, I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. And while I was pregnant with my 9-year-old, so we're going back like 9.5 years, I was very enthralled with the Jodi Arias case. It was on TV at the time, and I was like obsessed with it. So I'm pregnant, and I would always watch. It was HLN at the time, I think it was on, and you could send in to be a juror on their like fake. Every day they'd have like this case, but it wouldn't be like, is she guilty? It would be like specific things, like did she bring the knife or something like that. So I like send my email in while I'm pregnant and never heard anything back. And then I had my child. And like 2 months after I get this call, they're like, you can come to the CNN building and be on the show. And I'm like, oh my God, definitely going. So I called my mom. It was Nellie that came down, but I'm like, you guys, I need somebody to come down to watch the kids. I was in North Carolina, living in North Carolina, in Charlotte. And I'm like, somebody has to come watch my newborn baby. So I can drive to Atlanta, which was like 4 hours away at the time, and be on the show. And so she did. My sister came down, and I went, and I got to go to the CNN building and be a juror on the show. And it was amazing. Like, I loved it so much. Like, this is, to me, I love watching this stuff. But yeah, I was on the show. And then, like I said, it was specific things every night. And a lot of the people were like, I'm here all the time just waiting for the call. Like, they're living, like, but they live close, so I didn't live close. And I did get calls after that, but I couldn't, go because, like I said, I had a newborn. But I was really grateful for the experience. And it was very cool. And yeah, I followed a lot of trials. But I'm not crazy.
Is everybody who's part of this trial, like, can they, and I'm talking about everybody that we see on camera and the jurors that we don't see, are they at all able to get internet? Are they able to go to YouTube? And
so yeah, they can. From what I understand is they just can't like open anything knowing that they can't read anything knowingly. But if they see something, they're supposed to turn their eye, basically, is my understanding.
I would love to know if Amber Heard knows how many people are against her. She might be there going, man, I'm doing a good job.
So yeah, she definitely, because she hired a new PR team since this happened. So she definitely knows. They're allowed. I think they're allowed. I think it's more the jury's not allowed to do things. They're allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
Sure.
Her and him. The jury cannot supposedly look at the stuff. But here's my thing. I open Facebook, I open Twitter, I open TikTok, I open anything, and it's in my face. So you're supposed to just close it. Are they? Like, there's no way to know. But like, there's no way they could ever prevent that from happening. So it's seriously like, in this country, there is no way to get an actual fair trial because you're never going to have an unbiased juror, in my opinion, despite what they tell you. I never heard about it. Of course you did.
Yeah. And tell us why is it in Virginia?
I don't know for sure. I think because it's the Washington Post was the op-ed. I don't know for sure about that though, but I'm pretty sure that's why it's in Virginia. So
Yeah, why would that be? I mean, they're not suing the Washington Post. That's an interesting question.
Well, I can look it up.
Well, because Washington D.C., Virginia area came out in that area. Maybe it has a Virginia address.
That's what I always thought, but I was making it up. I didn't know for sure.
Looked good, sounded good.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, we don't need facts on this show.
Just what
we are fine peddling bullshit.
Listen,
look, you're the case expert, Kara. We believe you.
And I made it 37 years peddling the bullshit. So, I mean, why should I stop now? This is because the Washington Post, the paper in which Heard wrote the article, is published in Fairfax County. I was right. See?
I wonder why. I don't understand.
But it doesn't make any sense because he's not. Yeah, you're right. He's not suing the Washington Post. So that is odd. I don't know.
How long do you think this will go on for?
They said 6 weeks from the start, but I feel like we're probably in the 4th now. And I think probably it's going to be 7, maybe. If I had to guess, I think it'll be 7.
How long until you lose interest?
Oh, I'm writing it out. I'm writing it out until the end. No, I'm watching it until the end for sure. And I wasn't even.
It's for Sweeps Week. They're going to have to start bringing the celebrities in. I mean, I know this is a TV show. They're pretending it's a court here. This is just a great reality show. Everything I hear about it, it sounds more and more like a TV production, a talk show.
Like for me, let me ask you this: Did you know anything going into this about it?
No.
Because I'll tell you, my friend Kelly messaged me and said, "Oh, like Johnny Depp trial's coming up," and I was like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I didn't even know he was suing her. I was like, all I know is I'm pretty sure she's a fucking crazy liar. And that was just what I had formed in my head. This is what I mean. Like they can't find a juror. That's because I thought that knowing nothing, like just what I heard in the past. So, and I didn't follow anything, but the media made me think she's lying. And that's what I said. So just the fact of that, like, it's like, I think that people obviously have formed their opinion way, way longer, than now. But I didn't know anything going into it. Like, I mean, I sort of heard some of the recordings, but not to this extent. Like, this is way worse than I thought it was. So
I get a little bummed out actually when I'm watching, because you said you watch it on YouTube on that Law and Crime, which I never even knew before I found.
What do you watch it on?
Law and Crime. I was like, what the fuck is Law and Crime? But it showed up on my, you're probably going to want to watch this on YouTube. And
if you just type in youtube.com, that's the first thing that pops up every day.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you can watch the chatter, right? You can watch the live chat. It's like
I haven't done
all that. And all you see is Amber's an asshole. She's a bitch. Go Johnny, go Johnny. And then every once in a while it's like,
that's me.
Meanwhile, I'm on there just spamming it. I'm like, go to deluxeedition.show. I'm doing everything I can to try to get our name out there, Case. Yeah, but it's fascinating.
I have to ask you, going into this, I was under the impression from Casey that you were Team Amber.
I'm not sure why he's saying that. I don't usually question Casey until we get on air.
Open the text. This is the case expert coming in. Open the texts.
I can open the texts right now, Bill, if you'd like.
I know what you're talking about. I actually do. It's because I saw her testimony. It's what I said here. Her first testimony.
Wait, this was after her testimony? You thought that?
Yeah. Her first one had me thinking that maybe there was more to this story, but it slowly faded.
Now you're like, no.
Now I'm like, but you know what? I also want to be, they're all innocent until proven guilty. We shouldn't be like, you're a demon, because we don't know. She may turn out to be the good guy.
Here's my thing on that. And like, I've had like I said, I've never been personally abused physically, emotionally maybe, but not really. But I've had friends that have been physically abused, and I did actually. I think I was talking to Barbara, and like, what if she even remotely was, and we're like, "Fuck you," But I think so. For me, what cancels that out in this situation is I don't believe that he was. I think she was more of the aggressor, and I'm not saying it's right to ever hit anyone, but I believe maybe this is my thought. I think he possibly could have grabbed her. I think he could have even tossed her against the wall and like knock it off. But I don't think he was there like hitting, she's on record literally saying, I was hitting you. I wasn't fucking punching you, baby. Like who if you were abused, you wouldn't be like, you're a fucking baby. Like, who would talk like that to their abuser? No one that I know. So that's what I'm like, I'm not saying he didn't do anything. And I'm not saying he's innocent. I just don't believe he did anything that she's saying that he did. For sure. I think he might have grabbed her. Might have been some like knock it off. But I don't think, that he was there kicking her in the back and like, there's no way. Because if that was the case, why would you be on record screaming like you're a fucking baby? Like no one would do that to their abuser. Like nobody would. He's
still, there's no doubt yet. So when he's on the stand for the very first time and they're saying, listen, okay, we're gonna examine you. These are the questions we're gonna ask. Try to say this and this.
For sure.
He's still got to go up there and perform. So when he gets cross-examined and they're like, so what's in his box? Is there cocaine in this box? He's probably like, fuck, I don't know what to say.
He's like literally,
of course there's cocaine in the box. I'm Johnny Depp. But he's like, I probably can't say that.
He was like, no, I will say this. He was like, yeah, it looks like I could hold cocaine. I don't think I was holding cocaine. He's like, but he was constantly like, yeah, I was doing cocaine. Paul Bettany, he's like, yeah, I was like doing cocaine. He never was like, no, not me. I wasn't doing cocaine. He's like, we're on cocaine. Yeah, I think I was on cocaine probably. And what did the bodyguard? I thought he was being
a little dodgy for that one.
But if you watch the boxing, he was like, I don't think I had it in there, but he has never lied or not lied. He's never been claiming to not do cocaine. And then the bodyguard was like, yeah, when he did cocaine, it was mellowing him out. I'm like, who the hell? I mean, I've been around some cocaine, never saw it mellow anybody out. He'd be the first. They made it look like it was like ADHD medication, like for him, like, oh, it calmed him down. I highly doubt it. But no one's saying otherwise. I mean, the bodyguard's like, yeah, no, he was calm and cool and collected on cocaine. And he did have that testimony where he said he gave Marilyn Manson a pill to be quiet because he was talking too much, which we know from looking it up that, people talk on cocaine. So maybe it was mellowing him out, because why would he be so, why would he want to give Marilyn Manson a pill to be quiet? I thought that was interesting. Like, I
don't know. When I used to do, I've admitted I've done drugs on this show. When I would do cocaine, I wouldn't I'm not a people person. So like if I did coke, I would like to just kind of like hide in a corner by myself, like a fucking weirdo. So like maybe
that's not usual though.
And I've been in a room with Marilyn Manson. You want to shut him up. He's an annoying dude.
I just thought that was strange.
May I go back into our text conversation here and read this aloud?
Yeah, go ahead. I can't remember what I wrote.
All right. So I text Bill the other day and I said, did you see Amber Heard's fake crying right now? Man, I don't know. I started to believe her yesterday. She sounded like she was the greatest girlfriend in the world.
Yeah. Bill.
Well,
what?
It's what she was trying to present.
I said, okay, I'll take it. What made you think that she was the greatest girlfriend in the world?
I really enjoy.
You're married. I just saw your hand. You're married.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that Amber Heard is the greatest girlfriend? Or you'll blink twice if you're okay.
The reason I think she's great, she's a great partner for an artist who wants to. Well, maybe she's not, but it sounded like she's like, I'm going with him to these things. He's got these, these big pressures on him, and I'm there to support him. And that's a big job. If it's true.
Did you watch anything, or you just? But what part of that made you think that? What part was she saying that you were like, oh yeah?
Yeah, it was her testimony, which she was giving the entire rundown of where they go and the celebrities that they saw. What?
You were only listening to the first 30 seconds, apparently, where she's like, yeah, I'm an actor. What?
Well, that's what I said earlier. I can't watch this whole fucking thing. I got to work.
You gotta watch more to formulate an opinion.
I'm trying to tell you it's not right to have an opinion until this thing is over. Don't turn this on me.
But it's more right to, you can't watch 5 seconds and be like, oh, I got an opinion. Put the time in.
I will let you know.
Put the time in, all right?
It's more than it's too much time. I'm already way too into this. There's episodes of Reacher I could be watching.
I always say I got nothing but time, all right?
We're so far into this, we're doing a goddamn podcast about it.
And I'm going to look back on this and be like, oh, there's your mom. Getting drunk and doing a podcast on Johnny Depp and his wife at the time. No, but like I said, I knew nothing going into it, and so, but I did have an opinion on her, which, like I said, I don't know where that came from. I really had this opinion on her, and I don't know, like I assume somewhere in the news said something negative about her because I went into it thinking she was a liar. So I say that all the time, but then now I'm watching it and I'm like, she's definitely fucking lying because it's just so crazy. I mean, but like I said, do I think he's innocent? No, not at all. I think it was an insane life fueled by drugs and booze for both of them. And I just can't even imagine living every day of your life like that. And then let alone beating the shit out of each other. Like, could you imagine? Like, you know how it is when you wake up after a bad night of drinking or drugs and then you're like just back to it and then also attacking each other. Like, I mean, and then they're like off to my acting job. That to me is so crazy. Like, if I wake up from a bad night of drinking and drugs, not really, I'm not going to go acting. Like, what were they? Like, it's just, that must be just a crazy lifestyle to me. I can't even imagine what. So that's what I mean. I'm not saying he's innocent. I think he was for sure saying and doing some crazy shit. I just don't think either of them even know what was taking place at those times, other than the recordings, which is what we have to go by.
Yeah. I totally agree.
And the recordings are bad. And
what do you think the defense attorneys think of this, right? I always think of defense attorneys, you know, it's like you're defending somebody who's done a bad thing. But
Justin
I understand.
brought me up my plate of fries.
Awesome.
I think that so this is what I want to know too, and I don't know, maybe you guys have the answer. Where did she get her attorneys from? I know they're local to Fairfax because somebody told me that who lives there, but his are clearly better. And now obviously he has the money, you know, to pay. But hers seem to be all over the place. Like literally one of them objected to his own question. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would just, and then it's just, they're all over the place. But I would like to know, like, how did she pick them? How did you land on them? Like, what made you gravitate towards those attorneys? And also, how did he pick his? I don't know. I've never seen anything in the, news, but I feel like his are way better. And TikTok seems to feel the same way. And
I've seen his lawyer before. Somewhere.
I haven't.
His lawyer has been on another case somewhere.
Oh, really?
I've seen him on television before. Yeah.
Rottenborn.
Do you like too how Johnny Depp randomly would be like Mr. Rottenborn? He'd call him that. I'm like living for it. I'm like, yes. Only sometimes. Like he'd ask him a mean question, be like, okay, Mr. Rottenborn. Like he'd say his name only sometimes.
But he'd say it in his way. Yes, yeah. Mr. Rottenborn.
I'm gonna look him up.
Like we're gonna make sure you hear me say your name.
Rottenborn. Like you're back.
It's that power move people do. If they really want to add a layer to it, mispronounce it. Mr. Rottenborn.
But then that woman, the older woman, is so bad too. And it's like, where did you get them from?
Yeah, that voice is tough.
Let me see. I'm trying
so it seems like I put a thing out on Facebook. It seems like, you know, most people are behind Johnny, you know, the hashtag justice for Johnny. I'm just going to read through a couple comments here that we got on Facebook. L. Ray, our friend Ray from 10 Cent Beer Night podcast on the Dan Show. Johnny totally killed it. She really proved how shitty she was, literally.
That's not a thing to talk about.
My cousin Deborah Lynn Schwambach says I've been watching. She is an amazing con artist, an insult to real battered women. And then Michael Smay, this is another opinion. I am really confused as to why everyone is giving Depp a pass here. Don't get me wrong. Amber Heard is a piece of shit who has some of her own issues, but Depp clearly put his hands on her while drunk and high on cocaine. And on top of that, talked about killing her and fucking her corpse. I think they are both world-class assholes and they deserve each other.
Now I can get behind that. And I do. So I was very shocked, and I was like, when I saw that he said it to Paul Bettany, or he said it to somebody. I think it was Paul Bettany. We'll burn Amber and I'll fuck her corpse. That was like, oh God, that's crazy. And then you're like, okay, well maybe he was like on coke and drunk. I don't know, but that was very, I will say that's damning. And Bill, when you're saying that she's the best wife, I'm not going to say that, but I do think that yes, that is bad. You did say it. You said it. He says that.
I'm going to edit the whole thing out, so you can say I said it. I'll edit this too.
I'll go in the comments. I'm recording this whole thing. No, I'm just kidding. No, but so that was crazy and very weird. But also, what I know of people on coke and drunk, you're saying so you don't know what the hell you're saying. So, do I think he was going to really kill her and like fuck her? No, he wasn't. That was just a crazy ass thing. When I say it now, but I don't think that he was ever. That was not a comment made out of like, I'm going to kill Amber. It was weird, but I think drug induced.
Yeah.
You know?
So I read an article that is supposed to be a quote from Jennifer Grey, who used to date him.
The baby.
Where she wrote
from Dirty Dancing.
Baby from Dirty Dancing, where Baby from Dirty Dancing wrote in this book, oh yeah, he was great, but you know, when he was away, he was always worried about what I was doing, and you know, he was a very jealous guy. I swear I read it. I swear this line was credited to her. It's the internet. Anybody can make anything they want now and put it online, and you'll click it to, you know, give them ad money. But I don't know whether you can believe that or not. But if that's actually out there, that's one of the reasons I started to go, maybe she's onto something, because this guy's got a real problem with
Jealousy.
possession. Or
Yeah,
jealousy.
but being jealous and that doesn't make you an abuser.
Right.
Well, there's a point to where, you know, you can. Yeah, I mean, her story was, God, somebody touched me on a plane and he lost his fucking mind. Well, that's
where's the flight attendant though? Show me the flight attendant.
I can't. I'm
But
not.
see, here's my thing.
I'm
Now
not aware.
that she said that, because his people are like, she's saying things that have never been fucking brought out before. Now they can go find that flight attendant if they want to. Now the Kate Moss thing, like I said.
But I'm saying, hold on. I'm saying, even if it's the point is like that stuff actually syncs with some of the things that you hear about him. So if you put on these lenses, the narrative makes sense. If you decide to put on other lenses, the narrative makes sense. So they're both putting forward a narrative to try to get you to believe their narrative is true. And if they're really good storytellers, this should be hard to do, but they're trying it. Yeah. And the one thing that I really can't believe she did is she was in that Aquaman movie. So apparently she put this thing out a day before that Aquaman movie to drum up press for Aquaman. That's disgusting shit. This isn't supposed to be about that. That isn't supposed to be about this. So it's maneuvers like that is I start to learn these kind of, you know, things that she's up to. I see.
You don't think she's the best girlfriend ever, wife ever? I'm just kidding. No, and I think that like he's Johnny Depp. So he's always going to be Johnny Depp no matter what. Okay, this ends. People think he's a beater, whatever. He's still Johnny Depp. She was never anybody to start other than Johnny Depp's wife. Now she's Johnny Depp's ex-wife. She's coming out of this, and everybody hates her. They do. I mean, you see on the internet. So she's not coming out of this good. It doesn't matter if he loses. He's still going to be Johnny Depp. And honestly, like I said, I think he's amassed more followers and people that like him. I'm not saying it's right. Who knows? I have no clue what happened in their relationship. What I can just guess is what I'm saying. But she's never going to be anything after this. This is it for her. So she's got to, like I said, she's got to put the performance of her life on because she's got nothing else other than her baby, which we believe is Elon Musk's. And did you see that?
What the fuck? What now?
This is breaking. So she had a baby via surrogate a year ago when she was with Elon Musk, who she met at the Met Gala while she was with Johnny Depp. They ended up in a relationship after the fact, and they made embryos. And he took her to court. Elon did. How do you not know this, Bill? Come on. This is the podcast.
I work. I do this. I do other things. I can't do all the things.
Do your research.
I can't. I have you on to teach me.
I'm carrying this podcast on my back. No, so then I'm just kidding, obviously. But so they were in a, and I didn't know this until now either. They were in a relationship and they made embryos, which is like fucking crazy. Because why would Elon Musk be like, I want to make embryos with this random ass person? Insane. They made them, and then he was like, we're going to court. We want to destroy these embryos. And she was like, no, I'm not going to destroy them. And he lost, but he was able to somehow like sign his rights away to them where he has nothing to do with them. And now then a year later, she has a baby. Clearly, I mean,
what the hell?
She's nuts. If it's not his, she's fucking crazy because it's like a psycho move. Why would you have a baby after you just literally had to go to court with Elon Musk to fight over embryos? How do you guys not know this? This is a big. Come on, this is a big thing.
We're pretty tuned in. I mean, now that we've had you on, we'll probably have to have you on in three more weeks to give us the latest. Because evidently, I pick up like a tenth of what's really.
Somebody's got to keep it going.
Yeah, we need you.
He did though. So Elon Musk, they believe, is her
baby daddy.
Daughter's baby daddy.
Amazing.
Wow.
He was on the witness list too, because he was going over there while she was still married to Johnny Depp, to the like James Franco, to the penthouse while they were still married.
As the world,
incredible.
This is so much. It's a soap opera.
And there was a shitting in the bed, which we didn't get to.
No.
I think everybody knows about the shitting in the bed. The memes from this trial and the TikToks and everything have been absolutely amazing.
See, but that alone, like if I would never do anything like that. But if I did, I wouldn't even want this to go public just for that alone. Like it's so embarrassing. But
well, I think when you shit in someone's bed, you don't expect it to ever go public.
But it's going to now because it's just like It was so bad. Now, when they get her on cross, imagine what that will be like when they're like, that was not a Yorkie. That was, and she's coming, well, could be my friend. I have no friend in my life that I could be like, hey, do you mind shitting in Justin's bed? They'd be like, yeah, I do. I can't even imagine one friend, drunk, high, nothing.
I got a friend who would do it. He's
No,
sitting next to me here, virtually.
I have no friend that would do that. Like not one.
I'm not shitting in anyone's bed for you.
Casey's such a good friend. He came over. We did a podcast together, and he gave me COVID.
But then you have to think. Yeah, he did. Then he gave Charlie COVID, I guess, somehow from Florida. Then you have to think, though, did the friend, because she's crazy. Somebody could have just shit, maybe not flushed it. She could have put it, who knows? Maybe they didn't actively shit on the bed. Either way, I wouldn't want
job.
She's known now as somebody that shit in the bed. So, to me, that's so, embarrassing and bad. Now, like I said, it's so bad.
There is so many details out there. You really are. I know we're busting each other's balls a bit, but you really are putting some time into keeping this all together. It's easy to, it's so funny I'm saying this, but it's easy to forget you shit on the bed when you're talking about fist fights out in France and all these other things that they're talking about. There's so much information here.
So much.
It really is a lot.
We'll have to have you on for part 2, Kara.
Yeah.
We're coming up at the end here. So thank you everyone for watching. Kara, do you want anyone to follow you on Instagram?
No.
Give your Instagram? No? All right.
No.
We can be reached at deluxeedition.show. Find all of our other podcasts on the network at theden.show. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Deluxe Edition Pod, and join our Facebook group. Anything else, Bill, that you can think of?
No, I think
Buy our merch. We got merch. We got a t-shirt over at whatamaneuver.com. And that, I think, will do it.
Do we have any Drop a Grumpy shirts? Because that's we should try to do that before anybody else thinks about it.